Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and as promised, I said that I was going to show the Benjamin Marauder semi-automatic Sam in 22 cal synthetic stock, raised cheek rest. Like I said, semi-automatic. It has a 2-stage adjustable trigger, but I'm not impressed. Just like all the Benjamin guns, it's a shooter. I've never had a problem with Benjamin guns being bad shooters. Now, I've done some modifications to this one already. Cosmetic, that's it. Uh, I added some pieces in here to just make it look like a little rugged. Basically, all that is I had some water hose that when you put water to it, it'll stretch up to 75 feet. And it's got that accordion stuff on the outside of it, the rubber hose. So basically that's all that is. And I've got a whole roll of it sitting right there. So I can do a lot of cheek rests with that. And I tapped the end of it for a half 20. So I made a barrel break for this. Just basically, I don't need it. Basically, all this was for was to just bring the barrel out a little bit further because it's just too close to the tank, and I like my barrel a little bit longer. So basically, all I done was took a bolt, steel bolt that was half 20, and drilled it out to 8mm, and it just threads in there. Now I've got it tightly threaded into the brake, so that took care of that. And I'm gonna tell you, this thing is definitely a shooter. Alright, this is where you fill. They're still smart. They use the Phil Foster, not the Phil probe. Thank you, Benjamin Crossman. Thank you for that. We really appreciate you keeping with the Phil Foster. If most of these air gunners would listen to the shooter, the buyer, they would not be no probes. It's obvious that most of these companies, they'll just force whatever they want on you. It don't matter whether you like it or not. But Benjamin is still staying with the Phil Foster. Good job. All right. Another problem that I found with this, there's really only two things that I don't like about it. But what are you going to find that you ain't going to find something that you don't like? I mean, it's just human nature. The barrel band had this little O-ring inside that's supposed to rub up against this and be a nice smooth fit going down, and there was like 1mm of play back and forth. It doesn't actually touch the O-ring whatsoever, so the O-ring is basically useless. So what I done was took the O-ring out and I made this sleeve, and I haven't cleaned the swarf off of it yet. But basically you just pull the barrel band off. You know, you take your 2 set screws out, take your fill Foster cap off, and then you slide this off, take the O-ring out, squeeze that, and put it in. You be really careful when you're squeezing this. I mean, it's really thin. You can see how thin it is. But you just basically squeeze it and put it in there, and then it's got a little bridge on each side that keeps it from sliding back and forth, and it stays with the barrel band. So when I put that on there, there ain't no play back and forth. It was a perfect fit. I'll never print that out right first time again. But you got a little play here, but you're not going to get away without any play. You just got to stop using your barrel as a handle, like me, like I do. I use my barrel for a handle, and I need to break that habit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a crony test. We're going to do a trigger pull test, and we're going to do a noise test. Alright guys, I've got the crony set up here, and what we're shooting is Premier Hollow Points by Crossman, 22 cal, 14.3 grain. These pellets work good in every damn thing. I have not seen this work bad in anything. If you're looking for a good 22 caliber pellet, I'm telling you, these things are awesome. I've never missed with my Diana Storm Rider since I started with these. So they're very accurate and they fly pretty straight. So we'll go ahead and do 5 shots with the crony. Now the trigger pull is really long. .881. Second shot. .874. .874. Fourth shot. .872. Fifth shot. .880. So I don't know what the feats are until I go calculate them while I'm doing the video. Man, that thing's almost hole in hole. I'm looking at less than an inch, quarter size group. So let me go get the target and we'll show you what it did for accuracy. Alright guys, here's what we got, and this here is an inch, and it's probably about 3/4 of an inch grouping. I'm really impressed with this gun, and how it is that they can get semi-automatic to work flawlessly is beyond me. But they did do a good job. I did say that there was two things that I didn't like about it. Number one, I didn't like the barrel band, that it didn't actually touch the barrel, so why need it? Why do we even bother having one? It's useless. So that's one thing. Then the trigger pull is, and I'll show you what we got here. Let me show you this trigger pull. In fact, we'll go ahead and do the trigger pull test right now. And I always have to remember how to use this thing. I think we have to hit it and then hit it again to do the trigger pull. I hate using my pellets. Look how long that pull is. 1 pound, 14 ounces. Alright, reset that. But watch how far that thing goes back before it actually hits this next stage. And that's a weird trigger. Two pounds, 3 ounces. But that's a hard one to get a reading on because this thing's straight. That thing actually needs a turn trigger. Two pounds, 1 ounce, 1.5 ounces. So it's got a good trigger on it. That's right, this thing goes off by itself. Alright, so now I'm going to do the DB test. But you can see that this thing goes way back. And it gets to the point where you feel like, is it going to hit? Am I going to get it? So, you know, your first stage is right there. That's terrible. That needs to come back a little bit further. So then the second stage finishes off. Clear back here. Wow. Yeah, that's a long travel. So that's probably going to be one of my first fixes. Is we're going to see if we can't find a different trigger assembly for it, like I had to do for my Benjamin Discovery. Maybe there's a upgraded version of this. We're going to hope, but I would like to replace this. So other than that, man, this is a beautiful gun. The stock doesn't look bad, although I do have a wooden stock coming for it. Now, it's not the SAM stock. It's for the regular marauder, which means that the gauge on the regular marauder was about right here. Well, this one is up further. So in the wooden one, I'm hoping that that's all that's different. The trigger guard's going to be different. I'm going to have to make a new trigger guard for it, which I'm thinking I like to do anyway because I don't like the square trigger guard. I never did like the square trigger guard, but that's a preference thing. That's just me. That's nothing to do with the gun. But if I'm going to make one, and I got to make one to fit the stock, then why not make it the way I want it? So, but I do have a wooden stock coming for it, and these are the pictures of that right now. So we may, because I have to drill a hole in it, then we may just sand that thing clear down to bare wood and start from scratch and redo it. I don't know. It depends on if there's any nicks and stuff like that in it. Uh, it'll have 2 holes for the gauge, but I can 3D print a round plug to go in there and actually hold in place by having little ears that squeezes against the inside of the wood. So that's not a big issue. Uh, but I'm really impressed with this gun, and I've never had a Crossman gun that I was not impressed with. I'm sure there's some out there, but I haven't seen it yet. Of course, this is only my second Benjamin gun. Damn, about drowned it on that one. Went down the wrong hole. But this is what this thing's capable of doing. And you can see 3 of them were touching each other. These 3 right here. You see these lines going across there? That is when the pellet hit the backsplash, it just shattered and it sprayed a line all the way across the back side of this and came back out. So the target should have been a little deeper, but oh well. I'm not worried about it. As long as it catches most of the lead. I mean, you can see the holes through that. I think you can see the holes through it. But that's from when it hit the backsplash. It just splashed back and hit the target from the backside instead of the front side. Anyway, so let's do the, and I don't like doing this test either because every ear is different. I think this is pointless, to be honest with you. I mean, you can listen to it until if it's backyard friendly. First of all, there's no such thing. Let's just get that out of the way right now. There is no such thing as a backyard friendly gun. You know, it's just, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, if you live in the city or a housing development or something like that, your backyard is the wrong place to be shooting. Find you a range. I'm just lucky that I'm in the country and I have a lot of freedom to do what I want when I want to shoot my guns. And me talking is 79 dBs. But anyway, let's set this up here. And that's another thing that I don't like about this damn thing. You have to have it on a tripod because you can't set it up. So I'm going to try to set it up here about 3 feet from the edge or from the gun barrel itself. Alright, we're going to do 3 shots and I'm just going to tell you what they are. You're just going to have to trust me. I'm not a liar, and if you think I'm a liar, then just go and find another channel to start watching because I'm not a liar. Alright, we ready? .82.3. Oh, helps if I have a pellet in it. This is another thing I'm not sure I like about. Let me show you this while I've got this, while this happened. I just realized this. You have a scope on it and you can't get in there hardly to pull that thing back. And I have bedeviled the time getting this thing cocked and getting the pellet out of it. So I have to have it up against my chest and I have to pull this back as far as I can and hold it and reach for the frickin' clip they ought to have a way to lock this back so that when you're done, you just flip a button or something and push it up in there. So then you just push it up in there, hit your assist, and I'm not sure how that works, but it just clicked, so it must be doing something. I'm not real sure what this is for. Maybe it's a prime ball. Priming that pellet. Now, when you go to load your magazine, here's how you do that. Turn that around clockwise all the way until it stops. Then you put a pellet in backwards, and that one holds it in place for the rest of them. Then you just turn it around and fill each one of them as you get to it. Pretty simple. So now you got your magazine filled. With Premier hollow points. And they got some knockdown power, guys. I'm telling you. This little 22 pellet can put some damage on these birds. I don't know how far my target is, but I can tell you. We'll try out my FR. I haven't had it long enough to remember how to use it. Yep. Yeah, we're shooting at 30 yards. And I don't believe you need to shoot any further than that for testing. If you're sighted in at 30 yards, you're pretty close at 50 yards. Maybe you have to hold just a little high, but that's all in how you learn your gun. You need to learn your gun before the settings can be effective. Anyway, so my final thoughts on this gun, if somebody was to ask me, would you buy it again? Yes. Yes, I would. But I know I can change anything that I don't like about it. That's the beauty of getting it. You can decide whether you want the gun, and then you have to decide whether or not you want to put whatever in it to make it what you want. When I get a gun, I'm not looking at the gun for what it is. I'm looking for what it's going to be in my head before I get it. And this one here, it ain't going to take much to make me the most happiest guy in the world with a Benjamin Marauder Sam. But this is a shooter, and I like it, and I think you would too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and got some information out of it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.